Why are we called Negroes? Why are we deaf, dumb, and blind? Why is everybody making progress, yet we seem to be lagging so far behind? Why are we mistreated? Why are we in this condition? Stripped of our name, our language, our culture, our God, and our religion. Here in America, all of our religious training has been gotten by the preacher. He has told us of a heaven way up in the sky that we can't enjoy now, but rather after we die.
Had to call me jamming to that music again, huh? Family? I can't.
I miss y'all.
Sister Kalila. Oh, good to see you, family. Look, Sister Kalila, even though it's 2023, that intro.
Oh, praises be to Allah. It never gets old, huh?
It never gets old, and neither does the 7th Region Coalition Thursday Night Talk get old. And while I am not your hostess with the mostest, stepping in the stead of our hostess with the mostest, and as we should do, and I'm talking about our beloved Sister Michelle, who you all are normally used to seeing with us tonight, our prayers, our condolences, and our love are with her family, as she does what so many of us have been doing these past few days and these past few months. And that is making sure that we pay respect to those that we love, that may no longer be with us, and also showing love to our family and friends that need our support. And she's doing both of those things right now. So assalamu alaikum. We love you, Sister Michelle. Those of you who listen on a regular basis, you better send our sister some love.
That's right.
Divorce court with y'all. Don't play us like that. Welcome to Thursday Night Talk. I am Brother Lyle Muhammad, and while I am not your hostess or the mostest, you know I'm going to tell you to go get your peoples.
That's right. That's right.
So, as Michelle probably would at this time, pass the baton to me, and I would say to you beautiful people out there, assalamu alaikum to my Muslim brothers and sisters. Praise the Lord to my Christian brothers and sisters, to all my Black revolutionaries, Ungawa Black Power, and to all you peace and freedom loving people throughout the land. We welcome you to Thursday Night Talks, a powerful edition for any of you that want to be a better to you. And I'm going to give you a little clue what I tell you to go get your peoples. The ones that always pull on you because they keep going in cycles over the same type of emotional setbacks and traumas. You might want to go get them people tonight. You might want to go get them. So I just want to remind you that the 7th Region Coalition Thursday Night Talk, we want you to think of us like a lighthouse in the time of darkness, when there's a ship carrying people through some troubled land in troubled times. You got to have guidance. You got to have light, information, inspiration, teaching and training. We have that for you on Thursday Night Talks. And all I'm going to tell you about tonight is we are returning one of our most powerful guests. And all I'm going to tell you is that, but go get your peoples. And with
That's
that,
right.
our beloved sister, I'm passing the baton up to mighty sister Kalila
Oh.
Muhammad.
Hey, I got it. Oh, again, I miss y'all. Y'all have no idea. And I just want to welcome you in the most holy name and beautiful name of Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to all praises that due. And he's divine Messiah Mahdi in our midst, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and his divine servant in our midst today, who's always got the baton. Always have the baton. Never. You don't have to pass the baton because he's divinely guided. His baton comes from God himself. And that's the most honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I would like to greet my family in a greeting words of peace in the Arabic language of Assalamu alaikum to my Christian brothers and sisters. In the Holy Quran, it teaches us that a true Christian and a true Muslim is one and the same. So we in the same group, battling this devil together.
Come on.
But guess what? The devil is sometimes within. So we have to learn how to heal within.
Ooh, look at you introducing that topic. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, because it's real, and a lot of times we are so busy looking outside of ourselves, but never get the opportunity to look inside of ourselves. And this special guest is going to advise us, encourage us to not only look within ourselves, but to also be able to heal ourselves, and steps and mechanisms on how we can do that. So I don't want to belay this subject or the topic, and I'm going to send it over to our dear brother Tony. Brother Tony. Brother Tony. No, Brother Tony. All
right, go ahead, pass
look at him.
He's a pro. He's a pro.
Rest of my name.
No, Brother Tony. You know you're my brother from another mother.
I don't know who Tonti is. Let me begin properly. In the name of the one God who bears many names, some know him as Jah, some know him as Jehovah, some know him as Dios, some know him as Bon Dieu, some know him as Alobdumare. I bear witness to the oneness of Allah God, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. I am forever thankful to Almighty God for the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. I thank them both for the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you. Greetings, dear family. Thank you for tuning in to the 7th Region Coalition to help save lives.
That's right.
This is a coalition set up by our 7th Regional Minister, Student Minister Patrick Muhammad, here in the 7th Region. Soon after the Criterion message that was on July 4th, 2020, which originally we have been, and we still are, steering our people away from the experimental COVID-19. I'm not going to call it a vaccine,
right,
but an experimental inoculation, which is no good for us. And we're seeing the ripple effect now as we speak. But our focus is not on that tonight. And our focus right now is on healing and developing our community through the 9 ministries introduced to us by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
That's right.
The 9 ministries introduced to us in the midst of the Millions More movement back in 2005, as we seek to implement them in our communities. The 9 ministries, in truth, is not just limited to us as members of the Nation of Islam. It encompasses and incorporates all of the members of our communities. No matter what stripe of life, no matter what religious group you may claim, no matter what ideology you may be a part of, we are seeking to save lives through these wonderful and awesome 9 ministries. And tonight we're going to be focusing on the Ministry of Health and Human Services. Sister Kalila, if we could.
Yes, sir.
That particular mission statement on the screen. This is brought to us by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So here we go. The Ministry of Health and Human Services is responsible for the health and well-being of the members of the Nation of Islam, registered and non-registered alike. What do you mean non-registered, Brother Tony? Non-registered mean all of us are members of the Nation of Islam, whether we realize it or not. We're seeking to unite our people. And so we're seeking to heal our people physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually as individuals, families, and communities. Health is defined as the state of being of the individual and his family and community that is the fulfillment of the ultimate perfection that is the intention of the Creator. And so we look forward to having a wonderful and awesome guest. I'm not going to introduce her. Brother Lyle, are you introducing our beloved sister tonight?
I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to read the bio, and we're going to bring our sister on. But before we do that, two things before we bring on our beloved sister. Well, three things. Number one, look, y'all better go get your people now. This is serious business here.
Me and you and your mom and your cousins too.
I was listening to Brother Tony read that definition of health. We a little bit sick, family. We're a little bit off. But I love you still. But go get your peoples, family. This is a very powerful, transformative program. And since this is a time of renewal, what I would like to do is it's a very short 2-minute clip of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and he's talking about New Year's. This is our first show or information session with you in 2023. If you really want to know how much we love you, as you were listening to both brothers, Brother Tony and Sister Kalila, we've been with you, family, since the Criterion on July 4th of what year, Brother Tony?
July 4th, 2020.
Family, it's 2023, and we're still here providing light, inspiration. So you know we love you, right? But we definitely don't love you more than this brother does. And Sister Kalila, I can bring it up if you like.
Yes. Okay.
And so again, it's a very short message. It's from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Do I have the same ability to share?
No, that's tonight, beloved.
Okay, but I did send it to your email address.
Okay.
Sister Kalila. And so it's a very short message, but it's important because the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is setting the tone for what kind of message we should be sharing to each other at the beginning of the year. And as you hear that message, and then we're going to read a beautiful bio of our beloved sister. And I'm just going to tell you, she is a diamond in the midst of a people that need diamonds. And when I bring our beloved sister on, hopefully those of you who know our brothers and sisters who just aren't doing well emotionally, they just aren't getting by mentally. They're not getting through stumbling blocks and obstacles. You want them to hear this beautiful information that's going to be shared tonight. And so, do we have it, Sister Kalila?
We do have it. Let me get that for you.
Thank you so much. And while she's doing that, you're going to get your people. And you're going to listen to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan before we her on.
Can you hear it?
It's muted.
We'll be happy.
Take it to
I'm going to take it back.
Can you enlarge it?
Let me say, I pray that the new year will be happy. That's a tradition of this world. And the tradition of this world is to raise as much hell as you can as an old year goes out. Make resolutions that you don't intend to fulfill or you won't fulfill, and engage in raucous behavior. We, as Muslims, should not participate in such. The new year may be happy, but it may not be happy. So we should wish for everyone God's peace in the new year, whether there are misfortunes that we might face, which won't make it happy. But if God's peace is with us, then no matter what trial or circumstance comes up in the new year, that resolve with God will help us to get through. So I would like to say to our readers as well as to the public, the Bible says that the old world goes out with a great noise. And to symbolize how the old world is going to go out is the way this world lets the old year go out, with lots of noise and frivolity and foolishness and decadence. For us, the new year and the old, as we are blessed by God to come through an old year. But so many people started this year, friends, family, persons that influenced our lives, and they said, Happy New Year, not knowing that this year or last year would be their last year on this earth. So for me, it has always been a time of reflection. Mm-hmm. Reflection on those who started the year but were not blessed to finish it. Reflection on what we did or did not do that we pray God will bless us to do better. New Year should be a time of deep reflection and commitment, praying that God will help us to go through this year and bring us safely into the next. So I appreciate your saying Happy New Year, but we are not the traditional people like that. We are a people that believe completely that today and tomorrow and the next day is not in our hands. So we hope and pray, inshallah, if it be the will of Allah, that we will have a great, successful year for the spreading of that divine truth that will awaken our people and all who slumber under the touch of Satan.
Makes it seem like you don't want to spend the rest of your life with me.
Everybody keeps saying couple goals, and it's like
beautiful
triggering to me a little bit.
From the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And with that, dear family, I would like to go ahead and read into the record now the bio of our beloved guest as you're going to get your people right now. Our beloved sister, Keisha Makeba Bowers, is the founder of Movements of Change, where she transforms lives one soul at a time. In 2014, Keisha had a vision of bringing emotional wellness to the world. This vision transformed into serving thousands from Ghana, West Africa to Jamaica, and within the United States. Keisha operates an online healing sanctuary where souls from all over the globe come to her for emotional healing. Many are recovering from childhood trauma. Go get your peoples. Inner child pain. Go get your peoples. self-identity struggles, and much more. Go get your peoples. And during the pandemic, Keisha created an inner child healing virtual program. In addition, she pursued her Reiki practice and becoming a 3rd level Reiki master teacher. And you're going to hear more about that this evening. Keisha also completed her master's degree in social work in 2008 from Florida Atlantic University, and she continues to learn from the universe of life. She inspires, she empowers, she unleashes, and extraordinarily walking with others through radical transformation. She's relentless about her transforming success as she is her own. And she's more than a coach. She's their champion. But guess what? She's with us this evening. She expands them. She's going to expand us tonight. Give some love, family. Our beloved sister Keisha McKibben.
Oh, Brother Lyle, I'm ready. We going mark. Where we going, Brother Lyle? I am like, I'm fired up. I'm like, what? Yes, we healing the people.
I just got that song in my head. I think it might have been take 6. If we ever needed healing now, we sure do need it now. So
Praises.
we love you, sister. We're so grateful for your work.
Yes.
We're so grateful for your journey. Just go ahead and say something to the people.
Oh, listen, I'm like, I was getting emotional. Y'all got me fired up in the beginning, especially when Sister Kalila said, make sure you are not the weapon formed against you. She didn't say those words, but that's what I got. Make sure you are not the weapon formed against you. And when we carry old things, when I listened to the Honorable Minister who spoke just now, what he was saying was we got to put old things to rest because we don't know about tomorrow. That's what I got from him. And I always, when I come with the nation and my brothers and sisters here, because y'all have been supporting me. I remember back in the day when I was hosting events, Brother Tony and Minister Patrick, they did security for all my events. I never had an issue if I needed support. And because of that, I love you all. And I always have to recognize, I'm a child who grew up with an uncle who was in the nation. And I always have to recognize his influence. Yes, Prince Buster Muhammad Ali, he was championing for Black redemption when nobody at a time when it was unpopular, and the nation, he brought that to the island of Jamaica. And I always have to recognize him. I always have to say his name. So I just wanted to give that recognition in this space tonight. And thank you all for having me. So I'm excited. I'm ready.
Thank you for accepting our invitation, dear sister.
We thank you so much. I'm just going to kick things off and then let Brother Tony and Sister Kalila drive our people where they need to be. So Sister Keisha, this time of year, regardless of people's faiths, traditions, practices, there's something about this time of year that brings about a sense of renewal and reflection, in a sense of looking at the creating of something new. Can you share some insight to us as to why, regardless of people's faith walk, why this time of year is like that?
Well, we reflect on what we did and didn't do. So when we come into this season, because we know that the earth becomes new in the spring. We all know that, right? But we live in a culture, we socialize based on our society. So we live in a culture where, the suicide rate, there's a myth that the suicide rate is heightened during the holidays. It's post-holidays. And murder-suicide has an increase over the past 4 to 5 years.
Yes.
So we got to talk about that. Not only are we reflecting, but some of us are walking with resentment. We're walking with pain. We're walking with comparison. And we're walking with regret. And I love the message that Minister Louis Farrakhan gave. What y'all played in the beginning was so on point because we really don't know. We're not promised tomorrow.
Right. That's right.
So we need to shift that paradigm and really get excited about our presence, the fact that we're here.
Right.
But we get so caught up by our emotional pain and reflecting and feeling like we didn't do this and we didn't do that. We have an opportunity. So the new year, because of our cultural energy being in the Western Hemisphere, everywhere you look, people are talking about resolutions. People are talking about, I always say, we don't really need to say Happy New Year. We need to say Happy New Day.
Come on.
We don't need to say
renew ourselves every day.
Sister Keisha,
Come
the
on.
sound just went out. The sound just went completely out. Would
You
you
always
just
do it,
say
doesn't
something
it, by the
about
way?
not New Year, but New Day? Can you
We-
repeat that?
We're born again every day. Every
Come on.
day. Every day we have a new opportunity. My yesterday was, I had a rough day yesterday, and I woke up today feeling so renewed. I was excited about this experience, and I was excited about the new day.
Sister Keisha, we have to add a word in there. We have a new, every day we have a new divine opportunity because we have to view our, see, this is a divine vessel right here. That's a divine, oh, I'm pointing the wrong direction. That's a divine vessel. That's a divine vessel. For the loud, you're a divine vessel. Everybody tuning in, you're divine vessels.
That's right.
And what do we
That's
look
right.
like entertaining negative thoughts that don't belong there?
We
That's
can't.
right.
These divine vessels.
Well, Tony,
Don't
you just
belong
turned
there.
it into a workshop. You make
Come
me
on.
have to say, and I want our people to say along with us on the count of 3. I want you to say, I am a divine vessel.
Come
1,
on.
2, and 3.
I am a divine vessel.
vessel.
Yes, I am.
So,
Yes.
Sister Keisha, this concentration on emotional healing. Now, I know when I break a bone, what that feels like, and and the pain and all that, but what's the difference that separates this field of emotional healing and wellness?
So I'm going to ask everyone to close their eyes.
Okay, I like this
Close
already.
your eyes.
We're not home. Nobody's gonna be attacking us.
And my question that I'm asking all the viewers and my family here right now on the live is, how old were you when you needed the most love in your childhood? How old were you when you needed the most love in your childhood? And then I want you to reflect on what happened at that age. That reflection is the difference between emotional healing and any other, because you can feel right now in your adult body exactly what you experienced, why that age and that time of your life stands out right now. How old were you when you needed the most love in your childhood? That is what makes emotional healing pertinent, because that never leaves you. And we walk afraid, even in our understanding of spirit and spirituality. Sometimes when we have thoughts about needing to be accepted, you show up a certain way in an environment when you have low self-worth and you think people need to love you, you create a mask. We've all encountered those experiences, if not ourselves, even with others. Right? They're walking with something from their past that is emotional.
My eyes are still closed. So Keisha, I'm sorry.
And that was
Ooh,
like
I
a
was
straight
still
wire.
there.
Keisha,
I was
that was a straight wire. You took us straight to it.
Yes, I had to. Because we have an hour, and we really, what I understand about the Nation of Islam, I've been with you all for long enough. I know that y'all don't play. That I know. I've been, you know, I've listened to Farrakhan. I know y'all don't play. Right? So I said, I'm not going to play.
But what you just, honestly, if you see, and the beautiful thing about this, Sister Keisha, is if nobody did not do the assignment that you just said, they're not ready for the emotional healing. Because a lot of times people experience pain that they do not want to experience. So they live with this pain, right? And so these are the bullies of the world. These are the tyrants of the world. These are the victims of the world, because they don't want to feel that pain. They don't want to release that pain because they don't understand on the other side of that it's healing.
It's joy.
Yep. Sister Keisha, there's also cross-generational pain.
You know what, brother?
Come on.
Tell us get off your page. Get off your page.
You know what I got
Get out her notes, Brother Tony. Let her talk about, what did you say, cross-generational pain?
You know
What's
what I
that,
have
Sister
on the
Keisha?
top of my paper? Because I wrote some notes. I actually want to share. I love that Sister Kalila just mentioned that, because I want to share the things that you want to look into if you're struggling with denial. What is important, but I have on the top of my paper here, intergenerational transmission. That's what I wrote when you messaged me tonight, Brother Tony, I wrote, it came to me, intergenerational transmission. So what made you say that? I want to ask you.
Hey, we're on the same frequency here. We want to heal our people.
Yes. Yes. And so that's basically when you're unaware, like Sister Kalila mentioned, that unbeknownst to you and the person that's the recipient, trauma is being transmuted. Mind you, I said you and the recipient, because my community who come to me, the people I serve, which are generally melanated people, they say they didn't know they were abused. So not only did the abuser not know that they were passing down the abuse, but the person, and when we talk about being a part of a spiritual community, you're going to work with people like this who they're struggling, they're carrying something and they don't even know. So if you don't know and you're here tonight, and I see my family from New York in the chat, so I got to give them a shout. The Bowers family. I see Eddie Bowers. So that's
okay.
New York.
Family.
I'm from White Plains. So yeah, I see my people. If you had a parent who was emotionally absent, so if they were physically available, but they were emotionally unavailable, then you have to do some checking in at this time for yourself.
Right.
If you were often ridiculed and criticized, you see, we think abuse is about getting hit and egregious experiences, but no, if you were constantly ridiculed and criticized, you have something that you're carrying that might make you a very defensive person. That might make you constantly have to prove yourself to others.
And certain triggers that you will receive.
Yes, being triggered by certain behaviors, but not dealing with it as though it's about you, dealing with it as though it's about the trigger. So we become very reactionary and impulsive. Okay. Do you feel manipulated even now in the presence of a parent or family members? If manipulation, so you know, if you don't do this, then we're not doing that. We can't help you with this if you don't do what we need you to do. If you don't show up the way we think you should, then we're not. And the love is conditional. That is all manipulation for control. And 90% of the abusive experiences that are happening, it's really about power and control.
Teach.
It's about power and control. When I first, because I used to come down to the mosque, and there's this, you all tell me about this, because I might say this word incorrectly, but when I was coming, I was really going into my own healing, and I found a lot of solace in coming down to the mosque. And there's this program, Dianetics.
Dianetics.
Yes.
Listen. Listen to me. What I'm talking about tonight is in direct alignment with that sense of self-awareness.
Right.
I was really impressed by all of that. I was impressed. That is what the people need to get into themselves.
That's right. That's
Sister
right.
Keisha, there's an author, Dr. Jean DeGray. I think I'm saying her name.
Joy DeGruy.
Joe DeGruy.
Right.
Yes.
I had the pleasure of opening for her.
Favorite.
I had the pleasure of opening for her when she came to Florida.
Oh,
I'm not surprised.
She wrote the book Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome. It's something very profound that I remember she shared when she did come to Florida with us, is a lot of the language that we use on one another, that all comes from slavery.
That's right.
Still today, I've met with parents that when I tell them, oh, well, you know, little Joey's doing very well in class. My Joey's doing well? But and the parent doesn't mean anything wrong by this, but Joey's stupid.
Right.
My Joey's doing good. They're actually, it's like a compliment, but it's like, it's coming out wrong because of where it's coming from.
Right.
And see, what happened to us in slavery? It's like we were being sold off left and right. When the slave master came around on the plantation and saw that little Joey was growing, like, ooh, little Joey's coming around. Oh, no, master, Joey's stupid. Why would she put down her own child? She didn't want him being sold off.
Right.
Tony, you see Keisha rocking back and forth like that? That means she's full. That means
You know,
she's born. Let her go at that, because you brought up a powerful point.
We're suffering from a lot of trauma, Sister Keisha.
A lot of trauma. So this idea that your child could be taken away or that you got to dumb that child down. Dr. Joy DeGruy, she even talked about like profane languages that we use, like mother F. That men were used to, they had to have sex with their mothers and their siblings, like to breed more children.
Right.
And that's where that word came from. And so even in our language, we have to be so careful in how we connect with each other. That's why we say words like brother and sister, and we have to transform. But the beautiful thing about trauma, and which is why I'm here, is the same way how you can pass down the stuff that's not good, you can pass down the stuff that is good. And we call this epigenetics. The science is teaching us something brand new. And I sat down with Dr. DeGruy, and she mentored me during her time. And she said to me, Sister Keisha, we can change our DNA with spiritual understanding, the food that we eat, with the things that we watch, with the things we entertain, with the thoughts that we have. You literally can change your DNA. So what the research is telling us is just because great-great-granddaddy had diabetes, that does not mean you have to have diabetes.
That is a good point, Sister Keisha, because I actually did a segment of I Am Not My DNA. And it's on Seventh Region Coalition. You can go and scroll down and
rich 2.5, 3-year library of stuff.
So yes, and that's key, because a lot of times, especially when you go to the white coats, they will give you this DNA analysis. And they'll basically say, okay, well, you're borderline this, and then your history shows that you high blood pressure runs in your family, and diabetes runs in your family, and hypertension and all of these things, and this is why you're this because of you this, and and so forth. And so I said, no, I'm not that, because I'm gonna show you that I'm not. So when they diagnosed me, right, with hypothyroidism, I said, you're not going to give me something that I did not accept. I did not accept this disease. So I'm not going to take it. You can put it on paper as long as you want, but I'm going to show you that I am not what you say I am. And so that's where it goes into that DNA mechanism, because again, if you change the condition of your mind, you'll change the condition of your heart, your soul, and everything that's around you, even your community.
Even the cells in your body, they're regenerating constantly.
Right.
And they respond to sound. Everything is moving at a vibrational frequency. Nothing is still. Not even this glass and this water. Nothing is still. Everything is vibrating and moving in a certain direction. So you got to understand the direction of yourself. Really, it all boils down to what's really happening. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are.
Can you say that again? I just need for the people in the back, Sister Keisha. The people in the back.
And I'm speaking as a woman who had to recreate herself. So you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. That's how I'm here, right?
On that point, Sister Keisha, on that point, because a lot of our brothers and sisters, they're not going to be wise enough and go back to listen to the last time that we had you on, so they can be so fully informed about the richness of your story. But what makes your experience so powerful is what you just said. Could you share with people? We heard all the accolades about what you study and what you do, but they don't know what you've been through, my sister. Share some of that.
Yeah. And I'm a daughter to Caribbean parents, and they didn't have the tools. They didn't have what it took. My mother, a beautiful soul, but she was hurting, and she didn't get help for her pain. I'm the only girl of 6 children. Do you know having 5 sons to a Jamaican mother, what that means? That means that I had to learn how to serve others and never serve myself.
That's right.
And I had to learn to feel guilty about wanting to serve myself. And I had to learn how to create what I thought others would love so that they could love me because I didn't love myself enough. And I had to excuse the language of being called a bitch when my mother was frustrated. And I had to learn that as long as I continue shining, women will never like me. These are now, I need y'all to know that I'm doing this in some kind of metaphor. I didn't have to. That's the lessons I had to release.
Right.
Those were lessons that I had to release, you know, and I had to learn to, you know, constantly overcompensate and feel over obligated to others because I thought that I would lose people. So I thought that it was safer to drown myself in caring for others, even if it was destructive to me. And the process of releasing myself of that pain meant that I had to let that go, and that included letting some people go.
My God, Sister Keisha, my God, darn, I wasn't ready for that.
And
everybody can't stay. Sister Keisha, everybody can't stay. They gotta go.
Everybody can't stay. Everybody can't stay, unfortunately. And the things that I have experienced and accomplished in my life, you know, I host tours to Africa, and Brother Tony has been in community at these events and all these things. And each experience was me birthing this divine goddess that was always inside of me. You know, and I didn't know, I didn't believe that. You know, they have these AI things. Do you know this new app stuff that you put in your picture and it changes you into like a different face?
Right. Yeah.
Well, I tried today because it's on TikTok and I started to cry because my woman that it created, she looked like an Amazonian goddess. And I said, what if I always saw myself like this?
Oh, wow.
Who would I have been if I had always seen myself in this beautiful way? Like, it just transformed me. How did it know that that's the spirit that I have? You know, she had a spear and she was just so, and I said, wow, that's me too. And I said, what will it take for us to see ourselves and truly strip ourselves of this physical identity and really see our spirits?
And okay. So Sister Keisha, like I said, I think what you're doing is you're tearing a page in everybody's bio in their life. Everything that you just said, everyone in this listening audience have experienced that, right? So now we are aware. Okay. We can say that, okay, now we have acknowledged,
yes,
not accepted, it's a difference, acknowledged that what you're saying is true. Now, where does the first step begin in regards to healing?
So I brought 10 steps for y'all. I brought 10 steps, right?
Before you get into these 10 steps, because I don't want people to blow by what you're about to share, dear sister, brothers and sisters, you still use paper and pen. And you still know that there's some people that need to be listening to what's about to be shared right now. And you're not going to remember all 10 steps. So go get your peoples and pay close attention. Please, Sister Keisha, go right ahead.
So the first step is very important. It's probably the most significant of all. You have to step away from denial. Denial is a beast that keeps us trapped in self-blame and guilt. So that denial is what it looks like, because we could say this stuff, but let's say what it looks like. So what it looks like is, you know, what did I do wrong? Maybe it was my fault. Somebody says something mean and then you react and you're hurt and then they gaslight you and then you walk away thinking, maybe I shouldn't have said nothing. That's denial. That's how denial shows up.
Keisha, denial is the number one attribute of an addict. We're addicted to drama. We're addicted to problems, inviting problems into our lives. We have to ask ourselves why.
So what it looks like for me, because I know what I was addicted to. I was addicted to gossip. I was addicted to being distracted. So I knew who the people were that fueled that energy in my life. And when my phone would ring, I felt I would be like this, right? And I would have to put it down. And I'm keeping it as real as it gets.
Sister Keisha, wait a minute. You said that you were addicted to distraction?
I was, and gossip.
Listen, a lot of people are procrastinators, right?
Mm-hmm.
But 99.9% of procrastination is distraction.
Always, because you know you're supposed to do this and you turn around and do that.
Oh,
and
my
people
God.
ask me, well, how did you create your course? Or how did you do this? And I said, I did it. I just did it. And like the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said in the beginning, you don't know, tomorrow's not promised. So then you got to do it today. Do the best you can today. Right? So you got to step out of denial. And it is deeply rooted in addiction. That's like another session, because I love addiction language. And I don't use the word addiction. I use the word attachment. But yes, number 2, their inability to love you was never your fault. Whoever the person is, we know what we're talking about. You, if it's your mother, your father, your auntie, your uncle, your cousin, it was never your fault. So release that today. It was not your fault.
So, Sister Keisha, sometimes we don't, when we're dealing even with our own parents, which we should not judge. Many times they don't know how to love us.
They didn't.
Or how to express love, what true love is. So forgive them.
You have to.
And we have to learn better so that we don't make the same mistakes with our own children.
My goodness. Number 3.
Number 3, begin to see them for the person they are and not who you want them to be.
My God.
Because we tolerate too much when we idealize people. And I'm going to tell y'all, and in my work, I made up this word, but we love, especially melanated people, because we have white supremacy syndrome. We like to pedestalize people.
Break that one down.
I made it up.
Okay, break that down. Break that down. You might have to put that in the Urban Dictionary.
I made it up, child. I hope it gets there. We love putting people on a pedestal. I tell people all the time, I put my pants on one leg at a time. Calm down. Take a deep breath. It's okay. You know, we're just humans, but we love to put people above us. And when we do that, what we do is we do it to our parents. You know, we take these titles, mother, father, and like they were supposed to. They're human.
Right.
They're human beings first. They didn't know, and like you said, they didn't know any better.
You know, it is so beautiful that you mentioned that, Sister Keisha. A lot of times when people come in for the very first time in the Nation of Islam, they see these beautiful white garments and they see these beautiful, you know, these brothers in the bow ties. They all clean and sharp and everything. And they be like, oh, these people could never do wrong.
They're perfect.
They are
perfect. That's what I'm talking about. You all are speaking my language. You all are speaking my language.
Stop pedestalizing that stuff, putting people on pedestals.
That's what I.
Where are we? Number 4?
We're at number 4. Your boundaries are for you and not them. So don't be afraid to set them. No boundaries is a sign of self-love deficiency.
Can I clarify something, Sister Keisha?
Yes.
Like before you do that, Brother Tony, before you do that, I don't want to lose what Sister just said about the no bound. So if I don't have any boundaries, I don't have any self-love.
Yes, precisely. And I say that unapologetically.
That is. But what I wanted to say,
wow,
is that see, I
need help.
The minister teaches us, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us that we should love our people more than they hate themselves. We should keep doing for our people, even though we're on the spiritual journey. We shouldn't be so spiritual. We're like, I'm so spiritual. I'm just over here in my little cocoon and I'm not coming out. No, we're gonna have to go out and do the work and teach our people. But that doesn't mean that we associate with them, because if we start associating with them, what is with them that is negative, it's going to rub off on us.
Yours.
So, but we do everything that we can to teach and love our people and make them over and guide them to the right way. But that doesn't mean that we just... Exactly.
Yes, my father, rest his soul.
Number 5.
I gotta say, my father, rest his soul, Aya Bowers. he would say, you know, this is why the people need Christ.
Right. They need Jesus.
He would say it. So number 5, ask yourself, in what ways do I anchor myself to emotions of the past? So if they're not good, what do you continue to do to feel that? Because we definitely become addicted to feeling bad. And again, I'm really big into attachment addiction language. So this one
that's victim. That's victim. You want to be the victim. You comfortable at the bottom.
I want to feel bad.
I want to feel bad.
Playing all the slow songs and when I'm
sad. The Mary J's.
Come on, get out of
Mary
that.
J's with the big glasses.
Right. Recognizing in what ways you sabotage yourself to feel bad and anchor yourself to the past. Because when it becomes a cycle. So that's an important question. Number 5, ask yourself. Number 6, assess your thoughts. Just like how we love focusing on other people and highlighting what other people did and didn't do, we need to do that to ourselves. Because we love focusing on other people as humans.
No, real talk. No, you are absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Speak on that process though, because I could assess my thoughts and I'm not really assessing them. So how do I properly assess my thoughts?
How we properly assess our thoughts is literally, and I said this the other day on another platform, we should be tracking our thoughts, like literally, like things that you're thinking, especially intrusive thoughts. Like you're about to go live and you start saying, I'm so ugly, I don't want to turn on the camera.
Ooh. Gauge the thinking.
Gauge the thinking. The thoughts are directly correlated to the things you say to yourself. So I always tell people, don't speak out loud. I need everybody here who's listening to say, I am a rock star. Who said that? And I got that from KRS-One. Who said that?
Right.
KRS-One, we showed that. Yes, beautiful.
I loved him when he said that. And who said that? So we need to connect with that inner voice that is very alive and active.
When those negative voices are manifesting, Sister Keisha, we have to ask ourselves, am I saying this or is this somebody else saying this? And we have to pause for the cause.
Yes, we do.
We just got to flip the script, assess every language, tone that is being used in our very minds about ourselves.
I'm really big about filter questions because I filter my thoughts every day. So a filter question that I have is, am I doing this or saying this from a place of love or fear? So when I ask myself that, it clears me up. It clears up my karma. It clears up the energy that I'm moving with. Because I know when I'm being shady.
That's funny.
We need to connect to that.
That part, family. Go get your peoples now.
That's true.
We know we're being shady. Come on, right?
Where are we? Are we
so number 7? We're at number 7.
Ooh, come on.
So once you become aware of your thoughts and you start to assess them, it's important to document the thoughts that trigger the emotions and then pay attention to your actions that follow. So when are you most impulsive? When you're angry, what do you do when you're angry? We all experience passive aggressive behavior. Somebody says something, but they really mean to say something else. Oh, you didn't do it. It's like, okay, what are you really trying to say? That behavior, you want to tap into those actions. Don't beat yourself up. No. I call it making a shameless inventory. Shameless. It's
beautiful.
Don't beat yourself up, but pay attention to all the ways that you show up impulsively or you react through anger, and be honest with yourself so that now you can track your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions, because they all go together.
Sister Keisha, we have a course of study that we perform every Friday night at every Muhammad mosque and study group in the Nation of Islam. It's called Self-Improvement, the Basis for Community Development, which the guiding principles there, according to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, is self-examination, self-analysis, self-correction, and the quickening of the self-accusing spirit. And so in your own way, it sounds like that is what you're performing through this course of study that you are giving us here tonight.
Absolutely. And like I
You-
said, coming to the mosque, I am seeing what was being provided to the community. I was extremely impressed. And when Minister Patrick was he's always on board with anything that coming in and bringing in that knowledge to any of the events. And I just love that our people are getting this nurturing. It's so necessary,
We're almost home too, isn't it right? I'm so excited. Was that 7? That was 7.
We're at
right?
number
So
8
going
now.
to
We're going to go to number 8. So learn the art of re-parenting yourself. That's an art form of
take your time on that one right there.
Yeah.
Reparenting ourselves.
Reparenting.
In the beginning of this session, I asked, how old were you when you needed the most love?
Okay.
That is the age that guides your adult life. How you show up in intimate relationships, how you show up in community, how you show up with anyone. It is literally driven by this child. And we know when we are a child, when you're in that autopilot, you could be very immature about something if you're struggling with this trauma and you don't even realize it. When you know you need to communicate directly, but you're sending that text, that's that little child. That's a child in you.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, when you know what you really should be doing is picking up the phone.
Right.
That is the child that's unresolved, that's afraid. We don't need to be afraid anymore. And you don't need to parent yourself in the same way that you were parented if it was abusive. I can't call my little girl a bitch.
Right.
I can't do that. That's destructive, right?
Right.
So
we should be at a stage where it don't compute.
It doesn't add up.
It doesn't.
I got to be like, all right, Goddess Keisha, we are going to go on this platform and we're going to change lives tonight.
And and the beautiful thing about what you said is, even when the parent is absent, you have the opportunity to reparent yourself in that particular stage.
You do.
At that particular time and still be present.
You do.
So you don't have to go back. You can still be present in your thought process and guide yourself to success in regards to what your parenting skills. Hopefully they're good, right? To guide you, right? And guide you into a positive behavior and how to look at things from a different perspective.
Absolutely.
I love that.
And also we understand that there's no difference between the past, the present, and the future. So as you nurture yourself now, it's almost like you're nurturing that part of yourself from then. It's all happening all
We all need parenting, family. We all need continuous parenting, and we need 9 and 10 too. My goodness.
So number 9 is very important because in this process, we can be very self-punitive. And especially if we grew up with corporal punishment, many of us are self-punitive. And this is how we go back to old habits that are not good. That's a way of punishing ourselves. We have very secretive ways of punishing ourselves. That's what we eat, going back to old habits. So stop punishing yourself. That's number 9. Pay attention to the ways in which you've been punishing yourself and write them down. I know my ways. It's nail biting. I know. That's repressed anger. I know it. You got to know yourself inside and out. Right? So stop punishing yourself because the goal isn't perfect. It's progress.
Wow. That punishing self reminds me of the role that a lot of times alcohol and drugs play in making us think it's making the pain go away, making us think we're feeling good. But in fact, it's even causing more abuse, compounded abuse.
Yes. Yes, it is. It's causing a lot more. It is a form of punishment. Okay, so number 10. Number 10 is have fun in the healing journey.
Ooh, that's my favorite, I think.
Have a
now you have to really break that down.
because
I hear healing and it seems like such hard work. And how do we do that, Sister Keisha? How do we have fun in the healing process? Come on.
Yeah, laugh at yourself more. Laugh at yourself. I've caught myself, once trying to get validation from someone, my grown self, and I got in my car and I was like, why did you just say that? Girl, you crazy.
I do that all the time.
You just told that lady this and this. You want, I was like, why would you say that? And I started laughing. You got to laugh at yourself. and also doing inner child activities.
Mm.
Like there's a park here in Davie where it's a mountain, it's like a hill, and I'll go with my children and barrel roll down the hill. Barrel rolling, I love doing that when I was a kid and get itchy from the grass and come home and take a good shower. You know, you got to get back to having a good time with yourself.
That is true.
We could be so rigid and we could get caught up in black and white thinking and be very hard. And this is not a season. This is ease season.
You know, it's so funny that you did. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, Brother Left. No, it was just
you
about
remind
the
me
fair
of
witness.
You go ahead.
Go ahead, Brother Left.
You remind me of the true definition of recreational activity. To recreate life. That's what number 10 came to my head. Sister Kalila, come on, go right ahead, my sister.
You know, it was so funny because when we went to Louisiana, my mother-in-law was like, "Oh, this is what we do. Come on, bring your cardboard." I said, "Cardboard? What the fuck do with that cardboard?" Why we actually got on the cardboard and slid down the levees.
I love that.
I was like, "Oh my God, this is what's up. Let's turn up." But I understand, and that was a highlight and a milestone in my mind that I will remember for the rest of my life. And I shared it with people that I love, which is important. So, before you leave, Sister Keisha, I want, with the permission of my co-host, I want to ask you if we can do a part 2 next week.
Oh, that's fun. I welcome that.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Now, since you're doing that, Sister Kalila, I got to talk to the peoples real quick. You got agreement here, right?
Yes.
So to the peoples that are out there listening right now, we'll do a part 2 if our beloved sister's available, and I want you to concentrate on those points 1 through 10. Yes. And you do your, watch this, you do your you work. If you want to call it homework, but do your you work between now and then, because what I love about Sister Kalila's suggestion, and what I love about not only your approach, Sister Keisha, but you're right on point in terms of this coming right into us. We know we need this.
Yes.
Are we going to be courageous enough to go through what we know we need, family? And so this is a process. Some of y'all thought you was going to come on and listen to this 1 hour broadcast and be like, I'm good to go now. I feel so much better, silly rabbit. So it is a process. But I would like our folk to share this message far and wide, and let's get our people practicing steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yes.
Praise. And I'm not going to do the tree of the week. I'm going to do it for next week, because the next week is going to actually tie into what we're going on.
So how about we close out with this then, Sister Kalila?
Yes.
How about Sister Keisha? Because you, from doing this work, you already know we're going to give you the closing words tonight. The excuses and things that make people stop and not go through and maybe even give up before next week. Give them some inspiration and some advice on how to get from this Thursday to next Thursday, having completed those assignments.
Okay, so first I got to quote my Uncle John. He always said excuses and lies are first cousins. So,
man,
my Uncle John said, Winston Aaron. He said excuses and lies are first cousins. We don't do that, and he would put me in my place, right? So just remember that, but don't try to consume everything all at once. That is sometimes a very bad habit. We think we're going to go from 0 to 100. Remember, we're not doing this resolution thing. We're saying happy new day, not happy new year. So we want to take baby steps. If each day between now and Thursday you can only pay attention to your denial narratives, then just do that. Every day, write all the ways you live in denial. And if you can't do 2 to 10 and you're just focusing on that first step around denial, do that. Don't try to consume it all up and beat yourself up.
Beautiful, beautiful. I'm excited for next week. I'm already here. Let's do this. Go get your peoples, shed this far and wide. And I don't know what else to say, dear family, but Thank you so much for your work, your divine love for our people. Brother Tony, you sound like you've been in some of Sister Keisha's classes where you was firing on that tonight. And Sister Kalila, your openness to show yourself approved. Come on.
I'll tell you what inspired me about inviting our sister on. She was a special shout out to Sister Nzinga, who's also been on the 7th Region Coalition program. I saw her on a Kwanzaa program, and I couldn't stop commenting, Sister Keisha, on that YouTube program there. It was also on StreamYard. And I just absolutely loved it. I was out on my way to the mosque, and I was like, we're not supposed to text and drive, but I was like, yeah, yeah.
And Zinga and I were in the background saying, we were like, Brother Tony's giving some good comments. Me and Zinga were in the background, like, and the producer,
I couldn't help myself.
It was good. I was like, he's leaving some gems for the people.
Yes.
But it's
we
an honor.
Definitely look forward to continuing this conversation and honor and family. Thursday night talks never fails you. Our sister Keisha didn't fail you.
Thank you.
Right, part 2 coming up next week, and you can see right down there. Is it movementsofchange.com?
Movementsforchange.com. Check me out. I got a lot happening.
Yes, man.
Check out our sister. We love you, family.
Oh, no.
Assalamu alaikum. Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings.